Good evening. This is Joyce at Amazing Grace Wolf's Homestead. I'm glad you're here. Yesterday, when we started our video, I was learning something new. I was learning how to make homemade yogurt. I had never done that before. I don't have raw milk. There's not any place around me where I can get raw milk, but I did get pasteurized milk. And we started on the journey of learning how to do this yogurt. And we started out with putting 8 cups of pasteurized milk into a crock pot. And we let that crock pot get up to 180 degrees for that milk. And then we turned that milk off. Now, before I turned that milk off, I added 1 live culture of yogurt, one of the single servings of Chobani yogurt. It was plain yogurt, and I added that to the milk. I might ought to had put the yogurt in after I turned it off, after I got it up to the complete temperature. I'm not for sure if that really makes any difference or not, but we will see. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever done this, and we're going to do it again. So, but you folks have firsthand knowledge of what my first attempt of making homemade yogurt is. After we got it up to the 180 degrees, we turned it off. We took it to the table and we set it. It's in the crock as so right here, Dave. And we wanted you to see that it's in the crock. We took a towel and we wrapped that around that. We wrapped that around there. And so we're going to unveil my first attempt of making homemade yogurt now. I have not looked at it. I have no idea, none whatsoever, of what it will be like. But it's pretty and white. Okay, folks. I don't think it worked. But we're going to I don't think it worked, folks. But we'll try it again. But let's go on, and I'm going to pour this into this sieve. So the mistake that I made of being too impatient and putting the yogurt in may be the mistake of why this did not turn out. We have this, and initially there should have been more of this, and then this should have been whey in the bowl. But as you can see, it still looks like milk, and I'm not for sure if I'll have to do some more research on this, but we will definitely do this again. And it's to let you know, first time you may not be able to accomplish what your goal is, but that doesn't mean you give up on it. You just try again and do more research before you do. So I will be doing more research. I will be seeking out and seeing if adding that yogurt too soon is what messed it up. But I will let you know when I find out. And we will do this again, just as soon as I can pull the research and all the stuff, the ingredients back together again. But nevertheless, I want you to know that I did have my granola is ready, and my sliced strawberries was ready to devour a bowl of good homemade yogurt. And we're not going to quit. We're going to get there. So y'all come back, be able to see how we do this. Now that's not all we was going to do today. And you will see a thumbnail of where we finished off the chili and we finished off the chicken tacos. You'll see a picture of that. We did devour that last night. There wasn't hardly anything left. So just you'll be able to see the picture of that. But we're moving on to our next step. And today I'm trying another new recipe. It's called lemon oatmeal candy. So we're going to get started on that right now. I have placed 2 cups of oats in this bowl. And I'm placing a half cup of butter, 1 stick of butter in this pan. And then I am going to also add, I'm going by my recipe here, and the ingredients, all of it together, is 2 cups of quick oats, a half cup of butter, 3/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of milk, 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of lemon zest, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a half teaspoon of salt, and a half cup of white chocolate chips. And also, if you want to make it a little bit more lemony, I also have my homemade lemon extract, and I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of that as well. Okay, so let's get started again. I have my butter, and to this butter, I am going to add, put this on the stove and get this melting. As that milk begins to melt, I'm going to add my sugar and milk and lemon juice. So I have 3/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of milk, 1/4 cup lemon juice. Now my lemon juice is not fresh lemon juice, but I did use real lemon juice in order to complete. And then according to the recipe, the lemon zest. I have already washed this lemon, and I'm just going to throw in some lemon zest here. I'm just going to use this peel to get this zest, and then I'll use this lemon to make me some lemon water. Lemon is very good for you, and I try to drink lemon water as much as I can because I really love lemon water. Get a little bit more off the side here. Okay. Now, we're going to, this is the syrup that we're making, and we're going to let this melt. And stir this up. And we're going to get this melted all the way. And we're going to get this syrup, we're going to let it come to a boil. We're going to let it boil for 1 minute. Now we want it to boil. It'll start boiling around the edges, but we want it to boil inside, in the middle. And once it starts boiling in the middle, I'm going to set my timer for 1 minute. I'm stirring to get the sugar dissolved. I do enjoy making new recipes, and sometimes they turn out good and sometimes they don't, but I do enjoy the process of learning. It keeps me on my toes. I also add more to my knowledge, and when I'm saying add more to my knowledge, just like my impatience of wanting, I felt it when I did it yesterday. So I don't know if that really is what messed the yogurt up or not. But I'm working on patience, and I'm trying to learn how to, when I make a mistake, I try to take that mistake and I'm trying to, you've heard the saying since we're working with lemons, when there's something goes wrong take the lemons and turn it into lemonade. So I'm trying to take every step and every opportunity to do better, because my goal in life is to be better, and not to be better over someone, but just be an all-around better person. And my purpose is to serve God and to honor Him with the very best that I can do. As you can see, I want you to get a good picture of this. This is boiling now. See how that it's boiling, and it's boiling around the edges, and when it has started to boil in the center. Can you see how it's boiling in the center? Okay. Now I'm going to get my and we're going to put it on a timer. I love my little timer. Can you hear it ticking? This is what you call a rolling boil. And this is what you use most of the time when you make candies. A minute's only 60 seconds, but a minute seems like a long time when you're waiting. That goes back to the word of patience. Patience is a term that it's learned. We learn patience. Okay, our timer has gone off. We're turning this off. And we're walking over here. Now, for the next step that we're going to do, we're going to remove it from the heat and stir in the vanilla and the salt. And we said we needed a teaspoon of vanilla. That's a good teaspoon. And we need a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to put, this is my homemade lemon extract, and I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of this. Just to, you can smell that lemon. And now we're going to give this a stir. Okay, we're going to pour the hot mixture over the oats and mix well. And you can use quick oats or you can use the old-fashioned oats. I'm using the old-fashioned oats. Now to this mixture, I'm adding a half a cup of vanilla chips. And we're going to stir this until it's mixed in. Make sure we get it all mixed in. And now we're going to drop it by tablespoons onto this parchment paper. It's very, very hot, so you do need to be very, very careful. And I think it will make about 23. See if I can pick this up. All right. Now we'll come back to this and we will try it out and see how this tastes and see how it turns out. Now for our next step, we're going to make, of course everybody's recognize this, the chocolate no-bake oatmeal cookies. So let's get started. We're starting off, and I have a half a cup of milk and a half cup of butter. And to that we will add 1.5 cups of sugar, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a half cup of packed brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, a half a cup of peanut butter, and 3 cups of oats. Now the only difference between this one and the lemon one called for cooking it in a rolling boil for 1 minute. The chocolate no bakes call for it to be rolled 3 minutes. So let's turn on our stove and begin. I'm going to add the sugars to the milk mixture. I'm going to add the brown sugar to the milk mixture. I'm going to add the cocoa to the milk mixture. And we're going to add the salt to the milk mixture. And now we're going to stir. Get all of this incorporated. You can see it's already beginning to, that cocoa is done started mixing. Butter is just about all melted. I'm anxious to get hold of a bite of the lemon to see how that turns out, because that's another way I can get oats down my family. Sometimes we like cooked oats, and we eat the quick or we eat the old-fashioned, either one. And we love oatmeal raisin cookies, but I like to do other things to get oats, because oats is good for you, and I love the taste of oats. So sneaking it into the candy is a pretty good idea. Again, what I'm looking for is for it to start boiling around the edges and then start boiling in the center. Start my timer, and then we will do a rolling boil for 3 minutes. That's where patience will come in. If patience was hard on a minute, patience will be hard on 3 minutes, but we can get through it. That'll soon be boiling. What is some of your favorite candies that you make at home? Like I always said, you know, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And put down in the bottom, you know, if you can, list some of your favorite candies. Have you ever tried making the lemon oatmeal candy before? Do you make the chocolate no-bake oatmeal candy? Have you ever made yogurt? What was your experience in making yogurt? I'm interested in all these things because I learn from others, and it helps me to learn to do what I need to do to make my products, my foods, better and more nutritious for my family. And we're beginning to bubble here. As you can see, it's just beginning to bubble around that edge, and we want it to bubble around that edge. And once it starts bubbling around that edge, then it'll start boiling in the center, and then we can time it. I'm really excited about doing these videos for Homestead, and I'm really thankful for what all we can do and what God allows us to handle and to learn. I'm learning so much. Like, for example, my kitchen is a big kitchen, but since I started doing these videos, I found out that it's not near as big as I thought it was when I started working in it. So on each stand that we have, and so I'm trying to figure out ways of being better organized to make the process easier and much more able to learn from. Now we see this boiling here. This is boiling, and it's a rolling boil. So we're going to set our timer for 3 minutes. All right, let me see. 1, 2, 3. She's a ticking. Now, I'm not going to stir as much. I'm going to stir, but I'm not going to stir as much. I want all that goodness and gooiness and that chocolate and just to mix in there. And I do try, folks, I do try to. I've been showing you a lot of sweet stuff, but I do very much try to discipline myself on how I eat. And I want to eat more of the way that the Lord intended for us to eat, because He intended for us to have a healthy body, and I'm working toward that goal. And I'm learning so much about just in what we can do in our everyday life to help us to obtain those goals. All through the video, you'll probably, in probably every other video too as well, you'll hear me talk about purpose and determination. And my pastor was talking about these things at the service Thursday night. And I was so thankful for the service that took place, because it's such an honor to serve God and to serve Him with all the best of your ability. And that's all that's required. You give God your best. And so I just reaching out to learn my purpose of giving honor unto God, and to doing it even in the way that I live every day, even in my home, even when others don't see it. She's still ticking. Look at all those bubbles. See how glassy looking it's getting? That's getting into the candy stage. There's another way that you can test. See how that's dripping from that spoon and how it's beginning to slow down? You could actually take a glass of water. If you didn't have a timer, you could take a little glass of water and let that drop in a glass of water, just one drip. And when it settles to the bottom, if it stays together, your candy stage is met. I believe it's ready. Watch that. See how that drips? It slows down. It's in the candy stage. And that's where you want it. So I'm going to turn this heat off. And the timer has just stopped. So the timer and I agree that it is ready. So to this, I'm going to add a half a cup peanut butter. I am also going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And we're going to stir. Now, I want to see how it's changing colors a little bit because we're adding that half. And I'm going to have to hurry because this is getting ready to set up. I'm going to put half of the oats in and I'm going to stir that and see how it goes. And I believe she's ready. See how she's pulling away from the pan? So we don't have much time, so we'll have to get this going. Onto my parchment paper. You can already see that it's setting up. Now this is very hot, so you want to be very, very careful and not get it on you. And there we have it. Our chocolate no-bake cookies. Now, let's step over here and look at these lemon ones and see how they're doing. They're going to have to set up some more, so I'm going to have to put them in the fridge. And I kind of believe that we need to at least do them at least 2 minutes in the candy stage. So the next time that we make these, we will do that. That's what I would change to it. But I will put these in the fridge and they will set up and we'll be able to enjoy them. But I can't taste it right now. Let me go ahead and get a taste. Let's see. Because I'm anxious to see And they are setting up. We just have to wait till they cool off. That is lemony. That is superb. I may cheat and have more than one. That is very good. Very good. I believe that's what we'll have to do. Well, actually, in the process of doing the lemon ones, we'll cook that on 2 minutes instead of 1. I think that will make the process do a lot better. Yes, that lemon taste is great. And so is my coffee. Now let's get to the Word of God. Today, in doing the process of the yogurt and realizing hindsight where I messed up, and then we're going to try it again. As soon as I get it going again, I'll let you know, and we'll do it again to see how it's going to turn out. And it may not be the same way if you use the raw milk, but like I said, there's no way that I can get the raw milk in the area that I live. But it's just like life. When we make a mistake or when we do something that we really didn't realize that when we was doing it, it wasn't at the time, or we didn't pay any attention to the voice of God or the conscience when it spoke to us. But God is so good to us, and He is so merciful and so faithful. The scripture that I'm reading today is Psalms 18. And this Psalm 18 was one of the Psalms that David wrote. And you know David, King David, he was after God's own heart, but yet he still had to walk, and he still had to conquer the works of the flesh and the carnal mind, and he had to conquer the enemies about him. But in all, as it was spoken unto Paul, and it speaks unto us, God's grace is sufficient. Let's read Psalms 18 verses 1 through 3. I will love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, and my high tower. In that one scripture, God lets us know, David lets us know through the writings and the teachings of the Lord, that God is 8 things unto us already. He is my rock. He is my fortress. He's my deliverer. He's my God. He's my strength. He's the one that I can trust. He's my buckler. And He's the horn of my salvation. And He's my high tower. Verse 3 says, I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. Whether it's my impatience, whether it's my lack of knowledge, whether it is the intents of my heart, whatever it is, God's grace is sufficient. And in God's grace sufficient, He will make a way for us to know. We read His Word, we take it, we meditate, we ponder, and He will teach us. And He will let us know, and He'll make known unto us the manifestation of His character, the manifestation of His love, and the manifestation of His glory. of whom I give honor today in everything that I go through, every step of the way, whether it is totally a success, whether it's bobbled up, or whether it's totally a mess. Through the Word and the Spirit of God, through His love, through His mercy, through His faithfulness, He'll teach me in all of it. And I give Him honor and I give Him praise. Until next time, folks, we'll try it again. We'll do it again until we get it right. We'll see you then.